I just watched the video and the program was about to start. I could not, but just tried to know the situation then. How horrible, how painful. And I still remember one of the leading intellectuals of that time who said, they came, knocked at the door of my neighbor who happened to be a Jew. I closed the door. I thought that they have come for him, not for me. Again, they came for, knocked at the door of another person, he was a communist. Still I closed the door and thought that they have not come for me. And finally, they knocked at my door as well. I cried, wept bitterly, but there was none in the locality to stand up for me. That was the time. And the theme of the discussion or the theme of our exchange this evening is collective resistance. What a wonderful theme. Quiet in time and greatly required by the people, wonderful people of our wonderful country. And I must say that before it is too late, we must wake up, all of us. I have not come here to present something good, something bright, something which makes you, which makes our children, our youngsters smile. Unfortunately, I have come to share the pain. The pain which most of us in the whole of the country are suffering, facing, but mostly that part of the country called Kashmir. We have some relationship. Kashmir to Kanyakumari, often said, but I must put this way, Kashmir to Kerala will be more appropriate. We have certain traditions as well, common, very beautiful traditions. And I hope we are wedded to certain commonality in our aspirations as well, the aspirations of creating, making a world which is livable for all of us, while all of us can smile together, while all of us can live together, while all of us can think about each other together. What a wonderful world that could be. We have started the journey long before, and we means the people of Kashmir, the people of Kerala, and many more communities in our country, many more people in different regions as well. We have fought together and we have drafted something common for all of us. That's what I mentioned, a better future. I was just thinking about the great, very great historical personality. I remember I had the opportunity to work under his guidance. I had the opportunity to learn from him. And we had the opportunity of his sharing the agonies, the difficult situations, sharing our concerns when we became the victims of policies of those who were holding the power at Delhi. He is none else but Comrade E.M.S. Namboodiripad. I don't know whether the younger generation know it or not. Long before, when there was one commission, he presented the report on behalf of the Communist Party, and he drafted something which was considered to be very difficult but very unique at that time. He did that. I will suggest, if at all it is possible, you must go through those pages of history. He presented a document, a futuristic document about the future of Kerala. He did not stop there. When this wonderful region was divided into different smaller regions, the revolutionaries then aspired for unifying the ranks, unifying all the regions into a single unit. EMS was ahead of the times. Again, many of you might not be knowing, there is some sort of a link between Kashmir and Kerala, and some people are trying to distort the history. Some people are trying to deface us, the people in Kashmir. They want to present us in a different way before the people of the country, before the world itself. Unfortunately, we fought. Our forefathers united for what? A better future. They worked against autocracy. And they were ahead of us, ahead of many neighboring states. They charted out their program. They framed their objectives. They framed their common manifesto. And the crux of that perspective was self-rule for the people of Kashmir, Jammu and Ladakh, and end of autocracy, end of feudalism. And here in Kerala later on, when the first communist government was formed under the leadership of E.M.S. Namboodiripad, they drafted a perspective for land reforms, revolutionary land reforms. This was after the land reforms were conducted, land reforms were, act was implemented in Kashmir. Here comes you see, some sort of a relationship, a historic relationship about the aspirations, the moments. Today's India has emerged out of a protracted struggle. It's not some sort of a fixed agenda which worked everywhere. Yes, there were certain aspirations, a commonality was there, but there were specifics as well. There were certain unique situations as well, which we in today's terms call diversities. That was the strength. When the whole country, right from Kashmir, right from Lahore, right from Dhaka to Calcutta, to Madras, to this area, to Punjab, all our people joined together and cried for an independent India, sacrificed their lives for freedom. Those were the days when there was no discrimination between you and me. Those were the that was the shining period when somebody called Bhagat Singh, Rajguru, somebody with Gita, somebody with Communist Manifesto, somebody with Quran, Ashfaqullah, they joined together and the theme was freedom for our motherland. That was the common ground. There was no difference, there was no division. Religion could not be an instrument of division. Religion could not create discord among those great martyrs. Unfortunately, that part of history is not being repeated now. Unfortunately, that bright history is being distorted now. Unfortunately, those great contributions by those great people is deliberately being erased from the pages of the history. Stop it. All of us must, the younger generation must stand up and tell us we have to collectively preserve our shining past. We together from Kashmir to Kerala have to come closer to say no to discord, to say no to disruption in our unity, in our resolve for making our life better life for all of us. We can't do it separately. We can't do it. I cannot do it. You cannot do it alone. She or he cannot do it alone. We only can do it if we are together. Together has to be the theme, like when those martyrs stood together and chanted the slogan of Inqilab Zindabad. Inqilab, revolution was the theme. Today again, I urge my countrymen everywhere, that dream of revolutionaries is yet not fully completed. We have to carry forward that message. We have not to carry forward to destroy our India, to destroy their dreams, their aspirations. We have not to destroy that heritage, the historical, the revolutionary heritage of those great people. What is great in it? The great only thing is, together we can build it. Together. Handful of people may like to destroy us, to divide us. They cannot succeed, provided we resolve together, we act together, we move together. This is my message from a corner, from Kashmir. Kashmir is not different as it is being present. It was the same Kashmir. When partition took place, who were the authors of the partition? Who were the authors of that bloodbath, unhistoric partition, which created havoc in our lives? In that part of a Muslim died, a Hindu died, a Sikh died, and finally who died? My own brother and my own sisters died. I owe something to them. You can call them a Hindu, you can call them a Muslim, they can go to this massacre temple or Gurdwara, but finally, church, they are my people, they belong to my family. I just want to appeal to the people of India, the younger generation particularly, please own that concern. That history, that part of the history needs ownership, not the bloodbath. And who was responsible for it, for this partition? Who was the author? Go through the pages of the history. Don't concoct the stories. Don't distort the historical facts. Try to study it. Somebody called Savarkar said it long before Jinnah that Hindu is a nation, Muslim is a nation. What does it mean? He has divided you and me, put in separate nationhood. And then later on Jinnah followed. Later on. The monopolists of today's nationalism, I want to remind them, don't look backward, look straight. Try to understand history. Who advocated the division of my beautiful country? Who created the bloodbath? Who created the scenario where me and you got divided, separated from each other? I have settled the urge. I have settled the urge to be together. Because I can't shape it. I can't make it. But I'm very sure we can shape it, we can make it. Not you alone, not me alone. I'm not talking of India, I'm talking of the whole world. Where is the world? We can't be separate from. We cannot think in isolation from whatever is happening in the world. We can't enjoy the sufferings of our neighborhood. They can't enjoy it. Misery is a misery. Misery has no color. Tears have no color. Don't bracket my tear and your tear. Tear is tear. Somebody is saddened. Somebody is suffering. Some tears come out from his. It's not a Muslim tear. It's not a Hindu. It's not a Christian. It's not a Pakistani tear. It's not a Hindustani tear. Commonality is there. That's how the theme works. You put it resistance. I put it that at least if not resistance, some effort is to be made. If not resistance, at least speak up. Speak up, please. You are from this party, you are for that party. You want somebody to represent you, I want somebody to represent myself, but nevertheless, only it is possible only when all of us survive. All of us survive. Onslaught is bigger. Assault is bigger. Don't look in isolation. Like those people in Germany who thought that my door is safe. And finally when they came, when everybody had gone, none was left who could have spoken for me. That situation must not come. We might have differences, yes. We have different colors. We have different languages. My friend was talking here. Full time he spoke something which I could not follow. So I could understand the plight of minority. I could understand. Being minority as far as here the hall is concerned, I could not understand. But I was following your emotions, something, I was trusted. I was having trust on you that you are speaking something good. That's why I was having smile. I did not become sad. Even though I did not know. That atmosphere is not available today. That atmosphere is deliberately being changed. Somebody traveling, somebody taking some food. I don't know what has happened to this world. You are having a different language. I am having a different language. You are having a different dress. I am having a different dress. You have different habits of food. I have different habits of food. But you are trying to go with, I will travel with you. I want to be together. But please allow me to enjoy my food. You enjoy your food. Doesn't matter. You are talking, no, I like this, you should like this. Don't make life miserable. If for me, who knows what happens to you tomorrow? Somebody bigger of your size will come, he will impose the restrictions on you as well. So the point is that we are in a hall, we are here, we can sit together, we can talk together, we can eat together, we can not eat together, we can enjoy life together. But this kind of atmosphere is not being tolerated by a small section of dominant classes. Those classes which are not Indian. They are not for Hindu, they are not for Muslim. Now the present regime which we have at the helm of affairs today, some people are talking, they want to create a Hindu Rashtra, they are for Hindus. Are they really for Hindus? That there was a Kisan agitation, farmers agitation, there were Hindus as well. There were Sikhs as well. There were Muslims as well. They suffered for full 1 year. But the masters did not listen. Unless they suffered too much. They were forced to listen later on. Now look what is happening. Everywhere in Bihar yesterday, there is a huge amount of concern among the younger generation. Just for what? They are not demanding anything. They are not terrorists. They are not being incited by the enemy country around. Just because they were waiting for some job. And now you are creating new atmosphere where even the armed forces, what a joke. One person, he is aspiring for joining Indian Army, to work for the country, to earn his or her livelihood. A new formula is coming up. 4-year soldier. What a wonderful. 4-year soldier. He will die. For whom? And there is no guarantee. There is no pension. There is no minimum social security for the rest of the life. Can you imagine? Have you ever thought this is possible? Only where? Could I say only in India, or I could say only with this present regime? So they are not working for, it's not that they are offering something good for Hindu. What is the rate of unemployment today in this country? More than what it was a few years before, when they took over power in 2014. The ratio is much bigger. And they had promised that each year we will offer 2 crore employment to our unemployed youth. Mr. Modi, please present your report card. 8 years you have spent. Now 8 years, for 8 years you are making big stories on TV channels. You are making big claims about your achievements which are unseen for the people of the country, particularly the youth. Please tell us what has happened to that promise of creating 2 crore jobs each year. We want an answer. You said at that point of time that sabka saath, sabka vikas. You said it. That we will be working for the whole population. We will be enlisting the support of the whole community of people of India. Now what is happening today? In that where do Kashmiris stand? I as Tarigami is praying for. Are we somewhere listed in that WE? We? Where are we? Can you imagine? There was a time when partition took place. Jammu Kashmir was bordering with Pakistan. It is bordering Chittur. Maharaja was there, Maharaja Hari Singh. That Maharaja was not a Muslim. He was Hari Singh, Karan Singh's father. He was reluctant to accede to Indian Union. Why are you punishing me? Why are you punishing me? Why don't you make introspection that it was Maharaja Hari Singh on 15th August 1947, Jammu Kashmir did not accede to Indian Union because of Maharaja wanted to have an independent Jammu and Kashmir. It was not Sheikh Abdullah. It was not any Muslim leader. It was not any Sikh leader. It was Maharaja. Who was the Maharaja? RSS, the then RSS, Vishwa Hindu Parishad, then they supported him. Supported what? Supported his desire is not to join India, but remain independent. This is history. How did Jammu and Kashmir accede to India? Only when tribals from northwest frontier province of Pakistan came to raid it. They came. And another aspect of this, that time is that Maharaja Hari Singh had entered into an agreement with Pakistan. Standstill agreement. Not with India, but with Pakistan. You are blaming me now? I appeal to this court, the people of Kerala, the people of the rest of the country, please come on, go through the pages of the history and give your judgment. We are waiting for your judgment. You are our judges. Don't just listen to what these liars are telling to the nation, to the country. Open up the history books. Objectively study the history, then you will draw the conclusion how a Muslim majority state, the only Muslim majority state on this side, joined secular India, not Muslim Pakistan. We are still not being trusted. We are still blaming. We are being blamed for the sins which we never have committed. Please do justice. We don't ask the government. We don't ask the present day rulers. We don't ask for those who are distorting the history, distorting the face of our country. We don't ask them to do justice because they don't have anything to offer to them. But certainly, as a citizen, I must convey through you to the people of Kerala, I must, through you and other friends, appeal to the countrymen that we want justice from your court, the court of the community of the people of this great country. We are being defaced. History is being distorted. Are we being punished for that now? Because we went against the tide. We went against the tide. We did not join on the basis of religion. Our ancestors, our seniors made a choice on the basis of the traditions of Kashmiris, the unique cultural identity which is pluralistic, which is tolerant, which remains tolerant. You know, at that point of time, partition, Lahore was bleeding, Amritsar was bleeding. Madness had overshadowed whole scene. Even Jammu on the one hand, and Sialkot on the other side of the border, they were bleeding. Sikh has suffered, Hindu has suffered, Muslim has suffered. It was one community of people living in that area. You were lucky, you were not part of that area. We were unlucky, we were part, and we were part of that whole thing. But we have the record of not even a single communal incident took place. I'm challenging here to any historian, let there be any commission constituted which can establish the facts. What happened in Jammu, what happened in Lahore, what happened in Gurdaspur, what happened in Amritsar. Lot of bloodshed, massacres. All people suffered. It was in Kashmir Valley, which is branded today. What is the brand of Kashmir? A terrorist Kashmir, a violent Kashmir, a Kashmir which has not tolerated Kashmiri Pandits. This is the whole face of Kashmir being predicted, this being projected. But what are the facts? Open up Gandhiji's. Gandhiji, when as a human being he was concerned about this bloodshed, we may agree, disagree with many things, but his heart was beating for the harmonious relationship between different communities. That remains a historical fact. He has said, there is a subtle ray of hope. Nowhere. It comes up from the valley of Kashmir, where Pandits are there, Muslims are there, not even a single incident has taken place. There was no Indian army then. Indian army joined then only when Hari Singh was forced to present the papers of accession. Then only Indian army landed in Kashmir. That time, without army, without anything, a Muslim woman and a Pandit woman, they exchanged their clothes so that even those people who may want to disturb, they did not disturb. Give me that Kashmir back. I don't want anything more. I just want to pose a question: who destroyed my Kashmir? What went wrong? It is sad that Kashmir is punctured, that Kashmir has got damaged. I'm really sad when violence got introduced in such a situation, and violence became the instrument of change. It did what violence can do. It has damaged all of us. But recently there was a Kashmir fire that was promoted by none else but the Prime Minister of India. The whole brigade of RSS persuaded the people of India and persuaded them to witness this film. What is that film? Mr. Prime Minister, you do whatever you want to do, but don't market my tears. I have my tears. Don't market them. If you can't share it, if you can't share the pain and agony, don't sell them in the market. It's a tragic part of our history, the history of Kashmir, that the Kashmiri Pandit community, being small in number, suffered more. Yes. But what about the Muslim community, their brethren? Who was the first target of the militants in Srinagar? He was not a Kashmiri Pandit. He was a Muslim, Mohammed Yousuf Tarigami, who was killed. Many of you might not know, but some people who know the history must understand it was Maulana Muhammad Sayyid Masoodi who was the founder member of the constituent, one of the constituent assembly members. He was on the deathbed, aged, cancer patient. He was killed. By whom? By the militants. Maulana, you are not mentioning in that film. You are not mentioning in that film that Maulvi Farooq, who killed him? And then he was killed by militants, but who killed the mourners? Dozens of them were killed by whom? By the police. Why don't you mention in that film? Yes, the violent elements at certain times made our sisters from Kashmir, from our daughters from Kashmiri community victims of their violence. If such incidents have taken place, very unfortunate, very condemnable, but what about the gang rapes conducted by those who happen to be charged with protecting the lives of the people? And myself talking to you, ask them, I am the first migrant. I was nobody, but I was targeted, but I left my home in 89 itself. In fact, I was the person who was in Jammu when Kashmiri Pandits came, were forced. They left home as I left my home, out of fear. I am not blaming anybody except those who advocated violence. But I am talking of that when there somebody is bleeding, A is bleeding, it's painful. When another person is bleeding, don't differentiate between the two. It is bleeding is bleeding. My blood and your blood. It is tragic. Now today, when Sheikh Sahab is being blamed in Kashmir by some certain sections that it was he who supported the accession, his birthday was being observed as holiday. After this 5th August 2019, you removed that. There was one medal, police medal, that was on the name of Sheikh Muhammad Abdullah. Recently that was removed. Is this how you integrate the people of Kashmir? I'm just telling you, these are the harsh facts. My friends from this younger generation, Kashmiri young boy, young girl, they have the same aspirations as you have. They are not different. But there is nobody to own their pain. There is nobody to respect their aspirations. They feel subjugated, they feel oppressed, they feel isolated today. And the crux of the Kashmir policy today is not to win over the hearts and minds of the people of Kashmir, but to push them to the wall. My name is Yusuf. I am same Yusuf, who was what it was earlier. But today's Yusuf is different. Today's Yusuf is different. I am not a friend of the country. Farooq Abdullah is being raided by ED, CBI. He is not a friend of India, who advocated the case of India in UNO. There is silence today. But I have been telling, silence is not acceptance. You can force me to be silent. Yes. It's my turn today. Who knows what happens tomorrow with you? Don't shut your eyes. The only request I will make is today share my pain. Pain is pain. Who knows the same pain? God willing, it should not happen with anybody else. And the crime the people of Kashmir committed is they negotiated their future with the founders of the Constitution of India. They did not go with Pakistan. They became eyesore. But today the situation has changed that being a Muslim, you can't be trusted. You can't be trusted. And that is why 370, what happened on 5th August 2019? You know, we have settled constitutional order. We have settled some binding frame, which is called the Constitution of India. We are pleading that Give us what the Constitution of India has provided us. Tell me, is it a sin? We are not asking anything from any other constitution. Who drafted the Constitution of India? Which governs Kerala, which governs Tamil Nadu, which governs Punjab, and all of us? They were great people who fought for freedom. Ambedkar was there, Jawaharlal Nehru was there, Abul Kalam Azad was there, Rajendra, many more were there, many great people were there. And it was debated. When Pakistan was having a claim over Kashmir, we negotiated, our leadership negotiated, and the Constitution of India provided us certain rights. Should citizens don't have the rights? You see, when we talk about the nation, nation is not the sky. Nation is not the mountain. Nations are not the rivers only. Essentially, nation means, the country means the people of a country, the people of the society, the people in a locality, in a region. We matter. The Constitution is for us, for you and me. And we have a Constitution which is, there are certain pillars. It is secular. There is no word of that it is a Hindu Rashtra, it is an Islamic Rashtra, it is a Buddhist Rashtra, it is this Rashtra and that Rashtra. We, the people of India. We means we. Dalit is there, who has been ignored, who has been suppressed. Minorities are there. Marginalized sections of the population are there. Big and small people are there. That's what it means, we the people of India. You and me, my sister and me, my mother and me, women and men together make this country. And that's what constitutional order provided us. And it is that constitution which preserved not only the secular character, but the federal character as well. What is federal? You know, you are Kerala, I am Kashmir. Languages are different, customs are different, habits are different, climate is different. Isn't it? So this is diversity. Is this bad? Tell me, I am telling you, friends here. Should it be one? I am speaking Kashmiri, you too should speak. Tomorrow you will ask me, speak Malayalam. We are living in a cold area where other dress is required. You are living in this area where the dress is different. How can we have the same dress? Don't make this my country ugly. Don't force us to what is not required by us. It is federal. And that federal structure is under severe attack. We have LDF government here. Ask them, please. They want to do more for the people of Kerala, but there are constraints. The government of India is not. In fact, Kerala remains an eyesore. They are cooking up stories. They are cooking up something which is non-existent. And unfortunately, some people who happen to be claiming to be secular, they join hands somewhere together against something good which is happening here from the left government. It's not that left government does not understand your aspirations, the aspirations of the people of Kerala. We don't have any agenda other than serving the people. We don't have any other agenda which can divide the people, which can just create illusions, which can create divisions, like the one which BJP is doing. Some people are talking. I must say that they don't have anything to offer. They don't have anything to offer to the suffering Hindus who are victims of hunger, who are victims of price rise, inflation, who are victims of unemployment, who are victims of social discrimination, caste discrimination. A tribal is suffering, a Dalit is suffering, a woman is suffering, unemployed youth is suffering. They don't have anything to offer. But we, the people, we, the left, want to do something more. But unfortunately, this regime is, through GST, through other harsh measures, they have virtually squeezed the revenue. They want the status to beg for. They are not concerned about the federal requirements of the country. They don't recognize the rights of the states. That's why this becomes one more urgent demand from all of us, that the leaderships of states must join, particularly in secular, in opposition come, they must raise their voice in defense of federal structure, in defense of the rights of the states. You might be feeling disturbed because I'm coming. I will close it now. My request is, on that fateful day, 5th August 2019, we were having a historic state. Jammu, Kashmir, Ladakh was together. And Article 370, there are many other articles in the Constitution like 371. And we negotiated, the settlement was that you will be protected. You will be having a separate constitution as well. Apart from the national constitution, you will be having the local level constitution as well. What has happened? On 5th August, on 4th August, 5th August night, there was clampdown, there was curfew all around, no telephone communication with each other, with the rest of the world, no internet facility for months together. Even a patient could not have approached a doctor. Even those tourists who were there, they were forced to leave the Kashmir Valley. Even the yatris were forced. Can you imagine? Constitution says when you divide a state, create a new state, you have to refer to that population for their opinion, to the civil society. It's only one area, one example. That is Kashmir. When Parliament was discussing and deciding about our future, and we were put under house arrests, in jails, there was curfew, there was shutdown, clampdown everywhere. Is this the treatment in a democratic republic, in a constitutional order? My request to you is, please think it over. If this happens elsewhere, what will happen? We don't have violence. We don't have terrorist factories in Kashmir. It's a beautiful valley. Who has pushed the people to the wall, and who has the same people who were proud of having relationship with secular India are being suspected, are being humiliated, are being downgraded, and there is no voice, strong voice emerging in the rest of the world. Somebody should own our misery, our pain. We don't want anything more. No sikais, nothing. We are not beggars. But what we want is that don't misunderstand us. My appeal to the countrymen is, please understand our pain. Please understand where we have been put, in which situation we have been put into. What is our fault? And who knows, it happened in Kashmir. What next? That happened. Then CAA was, citizenship rights law was adopted. Not only that, then many other things happened. Now today what is happening? Now see to Uttar Pradesh, bulldozer. Can you ever dream of an India where bulldozer can decide your fate? Tell me. Even Supreme Court is today's, Supreme Court is still surviving. We have a judicial system. We have a constitution. We have parliament. Settle some person happens to be belonging to some other community. His feelings are injured. And we must speak. Who knows what happens tomorrow with somebody else? We have 15th August, Independence Day. But RSS is telling us, no, 5th August is the Liberation Day. Should we accept it? 5th August, my face was demolished. My rights were curbed. And then, Ram Mandir judgment was there. 5th August. Who knows what next? What they want to divide us, fragment us. They want to put one section against the other. Please convey this message to each household in Kerala. This message must go. You may differ with me, you have every right. You may vote for this party or that party, you have every right. Please don't destroy my country, your country. Don't put us against each other. If you don't have anything to offer to us, don't spread poison, don't spread hatred, don't spread something which is painful for all of us. We can be Hindu, we can be Muslim, we can be Christian, we can be Sikhs, we can be believers, we can be non-believers. But finally, we want to be together. We want to be together, but that togetherness is under attack. That is being assaulted today. Can I face it alone? Can you face it alone? Not at all. Collective resistance is the only answer. Thank you.